often they'll solely just describe your music as sort of country or country on the rise, as they say. Is there somehow you tend to describe the music that you make?
I really like to describe my music as like mom music. I know there's a lot of people that listen to my music that are not moms, but I really try to make music that people can relate to on their own personal levels, and that maybe makes them feel a little bit less alone.
Who are some artists then that influenced you when you were growing up?
All the great 90s country artists, Reba McEntire, Martina McBride, Shania Twain. The storytelling country music was so prevalent. And I kind of feel like we've gone away from that a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and I definitely am trying to bring that back.
Well, you have this incredible new song out, This Mess, right now. Talk about creating this and the inspiration behind it.
Absolutely. Life just like today. It's like I have went to get my tripod and it fell apart in my hands, and my son is downstairs working on summer school. And it's just a mess. Like life sometimes can just be a mess as a mom, as a parent, as a spouse. And it's kind of always just, you just get through it. And I really wanted to kind of just write about that and write about, all the craziness that comes along with being a parent, being a spouse. And it's a mess, but it's ours and we wouldn't have it any other way. So it's kind of like where the inspiration came from. And then my three friends, me and my two friends sat down and wrote the song. One of them is also a mom. Um, and the other one was a nanny for a long time. So we all kind of totally understood that like crazy parent life, and sat down and wrote it. And it was a pretty easy write, actually, because we all are so in that right now.
The song came out on the 24th. What kind of fan response have you been receiving to it?
I love hearing people's like personal relations to the songs that I write. And so many people have told me like, wow, I can so relate to this. This is exactly my life. This is exactly what I go through on a daily basis. And to see the videos that people are posting with their kiddos and their messes, I think that's so encouraging. I think there's so many times when online we see social media or influencers or artists who are like have this perfect background of their life, and really that's just not reality for me, and it's not reality for most women that have children. And so I think it's a nice reminder to have someone that they can also relate to.
I know. With this out now, how does the video then play into the message behind the single?
The music video, so we're doing what's called a visualizer for this song,
Okay.
which will basically just be me singing. Um, we have kind of like a slated music video for other songs, but this song, I mean, I can picture a music video. It would literally just be me in my kitchen dealing with my children. I mean, it's constantly a mess. But that's exactly what it would look like if I were to be doing one. If you have
Well,
kids, I'm sure you can relate.
right? That would be the perfect way.
Yes, just in the kitchen, yelling at my kids, being real mom, real life.
You talked about the songwriting for this particular song, but is there a process that you tend to have when you do make your music typically? Like you'll need a beat before you can craft your lyrics, or the lyrics find you and you craft music around it? Or is there no typical way you tend to craft a song?
I would say for me, it just kind of depends on the writers that I'm writing with. Sometimes I do write with a track. So I have a guy that will play me like 10 tracks, and they're like a full song instrumental. And then I'm able to write to that. Like Back of My Mind was written that way. And there's other times like this where it's like, what do we want to write about? And I really, and that day was like, I want to write about something relatable, something that we can, and then you kind of just, it's kind of wild how it happens. You kind of just think of a melody and then you start the writing process, and it kind of comes together naturally, both the lyrics and the melody. And in this case, that's exactly how it happened. But I would say for me, there's really no formula. I think it's just depends on who you're writing with, depends on, there's some days when I go into a writing room like with back of my mind, and I was like, I have to write about this right now because I'm like, this is on my heart, on my mind, and I have to get it off my chest. And then there's other days where you're like, what do we want to write about? So it totally just depends.
How much of a hand do you have on the production side of the music that you make?
I didn't have like a production title on the record, but I would say like I definitely have a say in the sound of the music and how I wanted it to sound. My goal was for it to be very 90s country, but also have that modern edge to it so that it fits in with, what's currently out there, but definitely has that like Sarah Evans, um,
Okay.
you know, old school country vibe, storytelling vibe for sure.
You have an album on the way as
Yeah,
well. I'm so excited. Again,
me
June
too.
28th. She's come a long way. What are some
Yeah.
themes you'll be exploring on it?
This album is kind of just my story. It's a total gamut from like how I started with my song "Thank You, Johnny and June," my very first concert when I was 6, and we definitely labeled the album from like start to finish. So the first song is "She's Come a Long Way," because I truly have come so far, and then the very last one is "Thank You, Johnny and June," kind of thanking them for lighting the way for me with my dreams with that concert at 6 years old. So it kind of goes through like my whole life, really, and just my experiences, um, hard times in marriage and being a parent. Um, so it definitely is one of those like growing up with me albums.
Well, the album, I'm sure, has plenty of favorite songs of yours on it. Are you able to tease some standout singles that hold a special place in your heart?
I really love She's Come a Long Way. I think, and that one's already been released, but I think that one is just so special because I've been through so much in my life. And I've come so far. And it's funny, like so many people are like, I don't understand like why you're not massive, why you're not big. I truly think that everything comes when it's supposed to. And, I don't know if 10 years ago I would have been in the right space mentally to be where I'm at today. And I think, and it's really beautiful to see like the growth that I've had, not only in my career, but just in my life in general and truly how far I've come. So I would say that song is really, really special to me.
And was there a song that maybe challenged you the most emotionally or
Ooh,
creatively?
um, thank you, Johnny and June. The first time we did the vocal, I literally bawled my eyes out. I was crying so hard. It's about my grandparents and my first concert, and my grandparents are no longer here. And my grandma was like the love of my life, truly my best friend. And there's a song about her on the album as well. But Thank You, Johnny and June was just kind of like this full circle song about, and I call it my Opry song. It's the song that I plan to sing when I debut at the Opry someday. And I just truly could not like get through the song without I'm recording my first album. I'm in Nashville. I wish my grandma was here. It was like one of those full circle moments. And it was really, really hard for me to get through.
Well,
They trashed that whole first. They were like, okay, got it out. Now let's do another one without the tears. I'm like, I'm gonna try.
you're like,
Because I was like crying so
making
hard. I
it
was like,
to this.
like couldn't catch my breath. It was crazy. Yeah.
How do you plan to celebrate then June 28th when the album comes out?
I'm so excited. It hasn't been announced yet, but I'll tell you. I am going to be playing at Ole Red in downtown Nashville on the 27th, doing like a little pre-party. And then on the 29th, I will be in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, doing a big show there for all of my hometown friends. I'm
Oh,
really
nice.
excited. Yeah. So from one coast to the other, I guess it's not coast, Nashville's the Midwest, but one part of the country to the other within a 24-hour period. It's going to be kind of crazy, but I'm excited.
Who would you love to collaborate with on a song in the future?
Ooh, I love Miranda Lambert, Lainey Wilson, but Reba McEntire is like my dream collaboration, hands down. She's one of my biggest inspirations. The first cassette tape I ever owned. Um, so that would be unreal for sure. I would love to duet "Does He Love You" with her, and someday that would be amazing.
what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music that you
Oh,
make?
you're so sweet. I think I'm just so grateful of that people continue to listen, continue to support. They show up and they keep me going. And I love hearing their stories. So continue sending me your stories and how my songs inspire you because they truly inspire me to continue making the kind of music that I make. And come to my shows if you can, because I love to meet all of my fans. I love to be able to talk to them and give them a hug and personally thank them for what they do for me and my music.